basketball this morning. Is that right?
Yeah, we did.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Good to be back with you. Really proud of our team, first of all, for just where we are and how they've gotten here, and especially how they played last week, earning the right to be 9-0, and it's going to be a huge challenge to get to 10-0. And really studying Pitt and getting ready for this team. This is a very good football team. A lot of times I think people, they just make the assumptions, and you look at, okay, well, they're 5-4, and they're 5-4, but this is a team that truly is, truly a few plays from very easily being 8-1, a break here, a break there. This is a very, very good football team, and we're going to play well. They beat Penn State, and we know Penn State beat Ohio State. Penn State's ranked somewhere in the top 12 or so. They went to Oklahoma State and lost by a touchdown in a shootout. They lost by 3 to Virginia Tech, who's probably going to win the other side. They lost by 1 at literally the end of the game on a drive by North Carolina. Lost by 1 point. Who North Carolina's ranked, Oklahoma State's ranked, Penn State's ranked. These are really good football teams that they took to the wire. And then, they had Miami game kind of got away from them. It was close for a while. It was a big rainstorm, kind of got away in the second half. But this is a really good football team. Very impressed with I've never played Pitt. It's the first time I've ever really studied them a whole lot. And very impressed with their football team. It's a veteran team. I think they had, coming into the season, they had about 18 of their starters back on both sides of the ball. So a veteran team, a confident team. And, I think, Coach Narduzzi's done a great job in kind of instilling his philosophies and mentality into how they play. Offensively, they've got a transfer quarterback, a kid from Tennessee. That's a very good player. He's a big, strong guy that runs well. He runs really well. This offensive coordinator was the guy at NC State last year when we went up there, and they actually was probably one of our worst games defensively. And had another transfer in there, had the Brissett kid. This guy's kind of in that same mold, big, 230-pound quarterback or so, and very good thrower, and again a good runner. So very impressed with him. I think everybody knows about their running back. Very special player, relentless competitor, big. He the back at NC State, the back at Louisville, they're kind of same kind of guys as far as just big and strong. But I tell you what, Connor he's got a ton of heart, and he plays with his heart. He's a very good running back, and has been the heart of their team. Makes a lot of big plays for them. Their offensive line, they're all back. And I think anytime you've got that type of continuity, they've got another year under their belt as far as establishing the mentality. They're big, they're nasty, and they're physical. All great attributes for an offensive line. So really impressed with those guys. Their tight end's a great player, and same thing at receiver. Will number 10, he's got a bunch of touchdowns. He's their jet guy. He's also the kick returner. But, again, they're a run the ball. They're very different mentality from last week. Last week we were going to play a team that's going to throw it 40 or 50 times. This is a team that's averaging 5 yards a rush, that's going to try to, bloody your nose and run the football, and all the shifts and motions and misdirections and the play actions that come off of it. A lot of option principles. It's going to take a Georgia Tech type discipline to really slow these guys down. So again, very impressed with what they do, and it's going to be a big challenge for us. They've scored on everybody. I think the least amount of points they've had is 28. So they know what the heck they're doing. And defensively, same thing, bunch of vets. I think they had 9 guys back. They're not a very passive defense. They're not going to sit back. They're going to attack and play aggressive. That's who they are. It's what they've always done. And you're going to have to hat things up properly. You're going to have to break some tackles. You're going to have to make some plays. and win some matchups. So, very, very good defense. Their defensive line, the little number 5, I mean, he's probably 6 foot, maybe. But he's top 5 in the nation in tackles for loss, top 5 in the nation in sacks. I think he's got 9 sacks, about 16 tackles for loss. A very, very good football player. First play of the game at North Carolina, it's a safety. I mean, and it shouldn't have been a safety. I mean, you would never coach him to do what he did, but he just makes plays. And he's explosive, and he plays with a big-time motor. But all those guys, man, they're big inside. Very impressed with just their style of play. And again, you're going to have to make plays to beat these guys. So big challenge for our offense as far as protecting our quarterback, being able to establish some type of running game against these guys, and then you got to win their matchups because that's what they're going to present. And then special teams. Last week we played the number 1 punt return team in the nation. Now we're playing the number 1 kick returner in the nation. This little number 10, who they'll do all their jet sweeps with and stuff on offense. He's averaging about 33 yards a return, tops in the country. So, all 3 phases, they have a chance to beat you. So a big challenge for us and something we're looking forward to. But for us, again, it's about finding a way to, get to 10-0 and accepting the challenge. We're excited to be at home. We only got 2 more home games. It's hard to believe that the year has kind of flown by like it has. We've enjoyed every single
opportunity, and really appreciate our fans. I mean, the home crowds have been amazing. It's been we didn't have a bunch of weather this year. Last year they were amazing, and we had a bunch of weather. This year we've had some beautiful weather, and our crowds have just been awesome. And I'm excited this week. This is a great senior group, and what they've been able to accomplish here is well documented. Tremendous leadership and commitment from these guys. And, this is going to be our senior day, an opportunity where we honor them individually. And that's always a special moment. And so, I know we'll have a great turnout and great energy for that. And then we'll have one more home game at the end of the season where we'll honor them as a group. But so it's a lot of fun to see these guys, kind of see the finish line and see that sense of urgency in everything that they're doing. I thought last night's practice was a good start to the week. We're in fall break right now, yesterday and today, so good for our guys getting a little bit of extra rest, a little bit of extra meeting time as well, from a normal week when they were in school. So I'm really excited about that. And then, again, just look forward to getting back out there and trying to find a way to get to 10-0 this week.
Some of these juniors, like Deshaun and Artavis, are going to graduate in December. Would there ever be a chance for guys like that to run down the hill on a senior day?
Yeah, they're going to be. They are seniors. They've those guys indicated to me back in the summer that this was going to be it for them. They were going to graduate in December, and their plan was to be a senior. And I mean, they're more seniors than some of the seniors. To me, it's about graduation. I don't, whatever their eligibility is, I don't, that stuff, Lord, you get all confused on that. When are you graduating? And then what are your intentions? I think that's the main thing. Like Sharon Peak, for example. Sharon was the same thing. He was graduating in December, but he knew he was coming back another year. So, he needed that, and we wanted to make sure that, but we try to just honor the guys that, their intentions are they're not going to be back, and they're going to either graduate in December or they're on track to graduate in May. That's how we handle senior day. And, again, Deshaun's only got 5 hours. He's got less hours than some of our fifth-year seniors have this semester. So he's definitely earned that right in every regard, because, again, it's about graduation. So we'll have, several of those guys. Mike Williams, Gallman. Mike's graduating in December. Gallman's graduating in December. Tay's graduating in December. Deshaun's graduating in December. And, all those guys are planning on, moving on. So definitely want to honor them while we have the opportunity. And they've earned that. And then we've got some fourth-year seniors in there, like a Leggett, a couple of those guys, Boulware, and we got a couple fifth-year guys in there like Guillermo, so Carlos Watkins. So it's just a really good group of young men that are looking for a strong finish, and it's great to have that moment, to really celebrate them, and then let's get on with the game.
Coach, I think we're going to get Deshaun in a bit, but how is he? And if we can get a quick injury update on the other guys, Ray, Edmund, and is Drew Morgan kind of a day-to-day situation right now?
Yeah, I think Fru's still day-to-day, and then Ray looked pretty good last night. He bounced around well, so it was pretty, and it was cool out. It was pretty cold last night at practice, so it was good to see him moving around like he did. He's still, not quite 100%, but the fact that we didn't have to play him, I think we're in a good spot for where we need to be moving forward. So he's doing everything he needs to do. Same thing with Deshaun. We got a good little plan in place for how we're going to practice him this week, and he was great last night. Keep moving forward with that.
What has
Marcus?
been Deshaun's practice participation so far with the shoulder?
Just what we've asked him to do. That's really it.
Marcus is okay, that toe's healing up?
Yeah, I think same thing. Marcus is kind of the same thing as Ray, in that, the fact that we were able to get through the game and not play him, because it's just one of them little lingering things that you don't want to carry into, the next few weeks. So the fact that we were able to hold him was big, and trying to help him kind of get that thing back where he feels great again.
With Deshaun, Coach, do you ever consider, or does he ever consider changing his running style given certain situations, certain games, or is he just going to be who he is? Does he ever consider taking a foot first slide from time to time?
Yeah, he's done that some. But you just got to go play the game. You can't worry about all that stuff. You got to just go play to win. And but he tries to protect himself whenever he's scrambles. He got tackled on a scramble. Just making a play. That's just comes with the territory. But whenever you have the opportunity to do that, it's smart to get down and be aware of your situation, and he does a pretty good job of that. But there are some times where his competitiveness kicks in, and he's trying to go score, and so just all part of it.
What does David Estes bring to this team as a senior?
He's been a really committed guy. I think his teammates have a great respect for him. Here's a guy that came out through our tryout program. We usually have a tryout in the spring and a tryout in the fall, and sometimes we don't have any spots. Sometimes we have one spot. Sometimes we have 3 spots. But he's a guy that I don't think made it the first time. Then he came back and did a good job. And so we're like, all right, this kid's pretty good. Kind of put him in the pipeline there, and he had to sit and wait. He's been around some good snappers here, back to Sobeski and so Fagenbaum, all those guys, and then same thing. Jim Brown had to wait. I think Jim Brown waited about 4 years. Finally got his opportunity to be the guy for a year, and Estes is the same thing. He's a senior, and he got thrown into the ACC championship game last year. He really hadn't played, but he was our backup last year. And then next thing you know, Jim got a concussion and covering a punt and was out and didn't even know it till halftime. And so, Estes snapped the whole second half of the ACC championship game. It was really his first meaningful experience and did an excellent job. So I think that was big for him going into the spring and, to kind of have that experience and for his teammates to have that confidence in him. But he's just a completely committed, player in every regard. Just a great leader for this team and one of those guys that's very involved in the community and takes his job very seriously.
In the spirit of today, did you take a stance with your players as far as election day and voting?
Did I take a stance?
Urge them to vote or
Oh no, that's all on them. I'm going to vote. I went by this morning, but there was too many people there, so I'm gonna see if I can slip over there where it's not as big a crowd, so I can kind of get in and out. But I hope they all go vote. I mean, certainly, but we don't really get into politics around here.
Dabo, with the pit and the jet motion and the option stuff, is it dramatically different from what you saw from Canada when he was at NC State?
Not really. I mean, this is very similar. Very similar to what they did up there. I mean, they're again, you're going to see them trade a lot of guys, a lot of shifts, a lot of double motions, motion, set, another motion. You'll see some return motions. I mean, heck, they've ran a reverse with the dang tackle for a touchdown. They've thrown it to the offensive lineman. I mean, they'll create multiple edges. So I mean, they may line up and have 6 guys on one side and then shift. I mean, they force you to be very disciplined. First of all, you got to be able to match up physically. Then you got to be able to line up. So a lot of stress on Boulware and Kendall to make sure everybody gets lined up properly and that your gap's sound because, just like that, they got you a gap short. And then you got to be able to, so you got to communicate, line up, handle the physicality to even have a chance to be in position to defend the run. And then a lot of times you got to commit guys from the secondary. So now you're having to play some man coverage. So you got to hold up on the outside when those play actions come. You got to be very disciplined. I say Georgia Tech discipline because they'll get in some double wing sets, which looks a lot like Georgia Tech. And there's option principles built into it. And here comes the jet sweeps. And next thing you know, they've got that guy on the edge, and you're having to trigger with guys from the secondary, and now the play action off of it, guys down the seams. I mean, it's a challenge. I mean, they do a good job. Again, a lot like different but similar from some of the principles of Georgia Tech. You're going to have to play with that type of discipline and then win those matchups. I mean, heck, they had I think it was either VTech or North Carolina, I can't remember, but they hit that tight end on a little pop pass. I mean, that sucker ran for 50 plus 60 yards, and he was wide open, and that's what happens. So just very disciplined with your eyes and where they need to be, and so you don't get sucked in. So they do a really good job. Very impressed with their scheme. Very impressed.
Coach Narduzzi's defensive philosophy with his secondary, I expect will present some opportunities for the wide receivers. Do you think they're really looking forward to that opportunity?
Well, I mean, we see. I mean, it's basically they'll play a 4-man type of a concept, and which turns into a man coverage a lot of times on the outside. But we see that every week, some form or fashion. Some teams major in man coverage a little more than others. Some teams play a little bit more zone. But they are who they are. They're gonna stop the run. That's what they're built to do to try not to allow you to establish any consistency and comfort in running the football, and they're gonna force you to make some plays. But then they'll come back and they'll mix it up. You watch Miami this week. I mean, they played some cover 2 on first down. So they will mix it up. They got all the blitzes, all the run blitzes. They got the corner cats. They got all the inside stunts with the backers plugging gaps, and then that number 5 is a baller. He's a handful. I mean, he is like I said, he's not very big, but he plays big and he plays fast. Got a big motor, so he's a handful.
How would you evaluate the play of Kendall Joseph, and what did you kind of expect from him coming into this year?
I think Kendall's played great. I think he's been very consistent all year long. And if you just look at his grades that we have internally here, he's just been very, very steady. A tremendous job. Filling some big shoes for BJ. BJ played at such a high level for us last year, and we really expected that from Kendall. You guys that have been around and paid attention and covered us like yourself. I mean, he was in the mix to start. For us, he was kind of on the verge of beating out BJ, and he got hurt going into last season, kind of set him back. But by the end of the year, he was back playing well, and his confidence was getting where it needed to be. And then he just has had an awesome spring and summer and become a great leader. He's a quiet leader. But man, he does his job. He studies the game and prepares as well as anybody we have. So he's one of those underrated guys on our team. Not a lot of flash. Don't hear him a lot. You know, I don't even know if he gets interviewed a lot. But buddy, he's incredibly important to this football team.
Coach, what would it mean to you and this program this weekend to clinch your 5th division title since you've been here?
Well, it'd be special. You know, I mean, we've got a chance for a 10th win. You know, that'd be 6 years in a row. And I think that's the level of consistency that we dreamed about and we wanted to be known for. So I think there's a tremendous opportunity there. But certainly if you find a way to win the game, then you got a chance to, it's another division title, but it's a chance to go play for the ACC title. And it's a chance to kind of continue to work through our goals there. So, you know, it'd be special. You know, what this group has done over the last few years since they got here, you know, the Ben Boulwares and even the young guys that have kind of come in and jumped right on board, like whether it's a Dexter Lawrence or it's a Christian Wilkins who's just a sophomore. You know, it's been pretty special. So it'd be a great way to send these guys out and, again, being division champs and having an opportunity to celebrate that at home, first of all, and then have an opportunity to play in the ACC championship game. I mean, we haven't won ACC championships in back-to-back years in 28 years here. You know, there's still a lot of work to do here at Clemson. You know, we've made a lot of progress. We've made a lot of strides. There's no doubt about it over the last, 7, 8 years. But man, we got a lot of work to do. I mean, there's still big accomplishments out there, and so if we can win the division, it gives us a chance to go play for it in back-to-back years, and we've never done that, and we hadn't won it in, like I said, since the '80s. So it's definitely something that we'd love to have the opportunity to do.
What did you think of Petrino's comments saying when they were talking about the college football playoff rankings and committee valuing strength of schedule, and that you guys probably should be number 1 if that was taken really under consideration?
Not really anything. I mean, I'm just worried about us. All that stuff will take care of itself. Everybody just needs to keep playing, and the rest of it will take care of itself. I mean, you look at I was looking at it yesterday, as a matter of fact. I don't even know who put it on my desk, but it had the AP poll, preseason AP poll, and then we had the preseason AP poll with the current ranking of today, and I think 12 of the teams aren't even ranked. Several of the top 10, I think, have losing records. Just goes to show you what them preseason polls mean, right? And why I pay so little attention to that stuff. And it's the same thing where we are right now. And if you look, even when Ohio State, when they won it, I think they were like 14th or 16th in the country, and came all the way up to get into the playoffs. So I think right now it's just, I know there's a lot of talk and conversation, well, if this and if that and if this and that. That's exhausting to me. Let's just play. And if we take care of our business, it'll all work out the way it's supposed to.
I was headed home yesterday listening to a national radio show, and the host said that, in his opinion, over the last 5 years, Brent Venables is the nation's most valuable assistant coach. Hard for you to disagree with that?
Oh, I absolutely. I mean, I think he's as good as there is. I mean, he's just unbelievable job what he's done here in every regard. It's been a great fit for me. It's been a great fit for him. We've had a whole lot of fun, working together. He's been awesome for our staff. As far as those guys in that room and the chemistry that they have with Marion. Marion is our co-defensive coordinator. He doesn't get near the credit either. He does an unbelievable job and always has, and they've been a great fit. Dan Brooks and Mike Reed and our support staff, all those guys. But Brent, sets the tempo in there, and he's just been incredibly consistent. And he's grown. It's been fun to watch him, grow. He didn't know a whole lot about Clemson or me or anything when he came here, but it's been a lot of fun to see him settle in here and just do such a phenomenal job. The players respect him. Again, he brings that mentality that you want to have day in and day out. You can just count on him. I mean, he's just incredibly committed to what we do and how we do it. And I can't think of anybody more deserving than that praise.
A great assistant coach. And if it ever came available one day, do you think he would make a great head coach?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I don't have any. I mean, why wouldn't he? There's a bunch of guys on this staff I think make great head coaches, and but I think it's one thing to be a head coach. It's another thing to be a successful head coach, and I think those are the things that sometimes people make mistakes in, so I think Brent's just a guy that blooms where he's planted, loves where his feet are. And, if those things happen, great, but I don't think he spends a lot of time worrying about that. I think he wakes up every day trying to figure out how he's going to stop the running back that we're playing that week. That's BV.
Dabo, Tony said that you obviously want to be playing your best football in November. Just how pleased are you with where the offense is right now?
I mean, I'm very pleased, and I've been pleased all year, despite some of the disappointment that other people have had. We've played really well. We've survived the drops. We kind of had a little syndrome of that in the first 2 games. I think we dropped 12 balls in the first 2 games, and that really kind of got us off in a little funk. And then we've had about 5 or 6 drop touchdowns. That's points. We had one Saturday, but we've made a bunch of plays too. So it all kind of, but we've weathered that storm, and then we obviously had a rash of turnovers, and we were able to overcome that. But all in all, after 9 games, I think we have 3 more yards. Is that right? 3 more yards than we had this time last year after 9 games. One last point. And that's with all the drops that we've had early part of the year, all the turnovers that we've had. We've had more turnovers and more drops, but we still got 3 more yards. So I think we've done pretty good. And we've played some really good people. We've played some really good people, some good defenses, and we've had to have some monstrous drives. And these guys have answered the bell all year long. So I mean, I think we're better than we were last year offensively. We've maybe done it a little bit differently. We've got more yards and more yards throwing. We didn't have Mike Williams last year, and not going to have him next year either. So as I've said, we'll make sure we take full advantage of that number 7 while we got him. He's special. I think we're better defensively. Statistically, for sure, we're better in just about every area defensively, and we're without a doubt better in special teams. So I think we're built, the way we want to be, and hopefully we can put the type of November together that we want to have. Because that's what it's going to come down to. I mean, we knew who we were in September and October, but it's all about who we are in November. And, we're in a good spot, but we got to go play well. We got to earn it. It's going to be a tough out this week, man. These guys here are challenged. The same thing up there next week, end of the season. If you got a chance to go to the ACC championship game, I mean, it don't get any easier. You better be playing and clicking on all cylinders this time of year if you're going to have a chance to win a championship.
With Artavis and Wayne, do you think that's the best decision for them to go over?
Yeah, so I think both of them are certainly ready to play at the next level, and that's just, I think Wayne. Again, both those guys are going to have their degrees, and I support them 100% in that. I really do. I think Wayne is definitely ready, and going to make a great NFL player for somebody. I mean, people have no idea what they're getting in that guy. He is something special, and still developing. And the same thing with Artavis. To me, Artavis is why he doesn't get, I don't know, the recognition. But this is one of the best football players we've had come to Clemson since I've been here. He is a great football player that just happens to play wide receiver. This kid is dynamite, man. He is so dependable, tough, hard to tackle, great special teams guy. You know, fast. You know, I mean, this kid can run. Has improved drastically as a receiver. Can play the slot. Can play outside. I mean, he can just do so many things. I mean, he's going to be a great pro. And as far as, you know, where he'll get drafted, I mean, those are things that will be evaluated as we move forward. But there's no question he's going to be a great player at the next level. I mean, this kid is everything that you could possibly want. Because he's like the Swiss Army knife, man. I mean, he's got a lot of options. And I love Artavis Scott. Blue collar, plays with a chip on his shoulder. You know, y'all used to hear me talk about Adam Humphries all the time, and you know nobody want to talk about Adam Humphries. You know, everybody want to talk about the guy behind Adam Humphries, and you know, why is Adam Humphries playing? If I had, you know, how many times I hear that, and he's doing pretty good. And it's the same thing with Artavis, except Artavis is better. Artavis is really he has been a big-time special football player here at Clemson. I think he's third all-time in reception, just past Nuke Hopkins. So I think it's Aaron Kelly and Sammy Watkins and Artavis Scott. And he's done it in 3 years. He's clutch. He's got a little bit of Jerron Brown in him. You know, I used to brag on Jerron Brown all the time. You know, nobody wanted to listen to me on Jerron Brown. You know, I tell him NFL guys that, because, you know, he was sandwiched between Nuke and Sammy. I tell all them NFL guys, I'm telling you, Jerron Brown, this kid is a great football player. But he's got that clutch, you know, just capability. I mean, he just seems like whenever we need a big play, Artavis is always involved. And, you know, but I'm really proud of that kid. And again, the fact that he came in here and he was a good student in high school, but I don't think he was sold out to being a great student. And then he comes in here and he rooms with Deshaun. That just goes to show you how, you know, you can influence people either way. And all of a sudden Deshaun comes in and he's kind of a different mentality. And now all of a sudden Artavis wants to compete. All right, well, let's compete here. And next thing you know, he graduates in 3 years. I just think it's so rare and so hard to do, especially when you're balancing all the things that these guys have to balance, from performance, expectations, training, obviously the school. He's been one of the best we've had come through here.
Coach, speaking of him, he's had some big catches this year, had a big one against Florida State, like you said, but his numbers are obviously down from the last couple of years because of all the weapons that you have. I asked him about that yesterday, if that ever gets frustrating for him, and he said that it did, but he's going to do whatever it takes to help the team.
See, I don't understand why y'all would ask that question. I really don't. He's second leading receiver on the team. How many catches he got? I think he's second on the team. He got 38. You know how many leading receiver, most catches this team from Pitt's got? Like 20-something, the leading receiver. Why would we even ask that question? Are we trying to create some drama?
No, I'm not trying.
Oh, so Artavis, are you disappointed that your numbers are down? Is that how the question is asked?
Just asking if that's a testament to the kind of young player.
That's baloney. That's what that is. That's trying to create some drama. Oh, are you disappointed your numbers are down? His numbers ain't down. How about the fact he's got 38 catches? You know, he's second leading receiver at Clemson. That's what I'm talking about. I don't understand why we ask that question. I mean, it's just like we don't have any drama, so we want to create some. Are you disappointed? Don't put words in his mouth and lead him down that path. Artavis is as committed, as good a leader as we got on this team. I mean, yeah, Wayne Gallman would like to get 30 carries a game too. Is that going to be the next one? Wayne, are you disappointed that you only got 10 carries last week? Do you want to get 30? I mean, I don't get that stuff. How about let's celebrate the team? We got a bunch of good players. You know, everybody wants to touch the ball more. I mean, there's one ball. I mean, good Lord. How about let's just talk about how good he's done with the opportunity. And how about the fact that he's played slot, he's played this, he's jumped in at punt return. I mean, he's done a little bit of everything. He's made a huge play, probably the biggest play in the Louisville game that you could possibly have on the kick return. This kid's a great football player. He ain't had a down year, and I don't want that rhetoric out there. He's had a great year, not a down year. It's not all about that.
Just
you know.
Talking about his numbers compared to last
Well,
year.
I mean, but it ain't
Not
about
maybe
that. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I mean, everybody's got opportunities, you know? I mean, Ray was a true freshman last year. So Ray doesn't deserve to play? Ray, you know, I mean, what do? Just leave Ray on the bench? He's pretty good too. You know, last year Ray was a true freshman learning how to play. And Artavis was a veteran who knew how to play. Now we got two veterans that deserve to play, and they get opportunities to both to touch the ball. It's not a, you know, and Renfro, we try. How about, I mean, he's been pretty good. How many catches he got? Probably less than them guys. You know, I mean, Renfro, are you going to transfer after the year? You only had, 20 catches. I don't like that. That drives me nuts. Where we're just trying to create some type of drama within a football team, where there isn't any.
With the four guys that you said are going to be heading on as their juniors in football but seniors in school, once you get into postseason play, and it's natural for young guys to start thinking about the next level, is it really just about those guys independently and individually just keeping their focus on the postseason once you're there rather than?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's where this team has been. I mean, this has been a very consistent team as far as how they prepared every week. Easy to coach, easiest team I've had. I've said that all year. Funnest team, easiest team. I mean, it has been so easy to coach these guys. They just prepare, and there's been no distractions with them. Even when we've had a distraction, like what I would call a distraction within our team, they just keep rolling. I mean, they just have done a phenomenal job. But those guys, you got to stay in the moment. You got to finish. If you've got aspirations of playing at the next level, at the end of the day, it comes down to how you play, and how you finish. Everything counts, and so they all understand that. Kevin Dodd finished. Shaq finished, and Kevin Dodd, the way he finished, he really helped himself down the stretch. So it's just, again, each guy continue to do what they do, and that's just prepare every week to do the best you can for that opponent and embrace it all.
As a coach and as a recruiter, when you're pulling these guys, 17, 18-year-olds, can you tell whether they're going to be team guys or whether they'll be more interested in their own independent goals?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's part of our evaluation, in who they are, how they're wired, what matters to them. We look way beyond the tape, way beyond what the stats are, way beyond sometimes what other people say, in trying to really figure out how these guys are wired. And, sometimes you've got, a good kid, but maybe he's got some maturing to do. He's got some learning to do, and that's what our program's all about. But most of these guys won't come here, if they've got the wrong mindset, because we're very transparent in the recruiting process. I mean, we're very transparent, and we lay it out. This is what the expectations are. This is who we are, and it doesn't matter who they are. Most of these guys that come here, they know the philosophies and how we're built. So we don't really have a lot of those guys that are me-oriented. And if they are, it doesn't take long for that to kind of get exposed within our program. And then we have an infrastructure in place that recognizes that, and then we go to work and trying to help that guy grow up a little bit. That's coaching. It's what we do.
Along those lines, how about your thoughts on Chad Kelly's college career coming to an end?
Yeah, really disappointed, for him. Really, that's a tough break. I just wish him well. I mean, I think he's proven that he can come back from that strong. I mean, heck, I've never seen a guy work like him. I mean, it's unbelievable what he did when he was here, and when he got hurt the first time. I've never seen anything like it, and how he recovered and how hard he worked to get back for the start of that season. And I'm not sure if he got in that first game, but he played like maybe the second game. I mean, he played early. I mean, he was ready to play. But so I know he'll put a great amount of work into getting back stronger. And again, it's not like it used to be. These guys now and the technology and the doctors and all that stuff. I thought he had a great career. Obviously it's unfortunate. Maybe it didn't go according to script, but it's how you respond. And he went and did what he needed to do, and did a great job in leading his team. And he had some huge games and huge moments. So I think he certainly did enough to show that he's, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. We knew that. That's why we recruited him. And he's definitely going to get that opportunity to play on the next level. And I think he'll be a great player. There's no doubt about it. But first things first, he's got to get back healthy. He'll do that and be just fine.
You ever wonder about how you would have handled things if he had stayed? You've got him, you've got Deshaun, how that would have played out?
No, I don't.
Dabo, I know you're so upbeat about every aspect of your team, but what would be like one area or the primary area where you think you need to make some improvement as you go down the stretch here?
Well, I think that we've started that. We're +2, I think, on the +2 in the turnover margin. So if you'd asked me that last week, that'd been my number one answer, is we've got to get on the plus side of the margin. And so I think we've started that, and that's still, to me, the number one thing. We got to take care of the football, and continue to be relentless in getting those takeaways. But to me, that's the number one thing. If we can do a great job in that area, then we've got a chance to be really successful. But when you're playing the type of teams that we're going to play this weekend and moving forward, and you give them short fields and things like that, and you don't finish drives, the next thing I would have said would have been, let's make sure we clean up some of the red zone, because obviously we had great long drives against NC State, and we got in the red zone 4 times, got no points, 3 times inside the 5, got 0 points. Well, that's a recipe for disaster. And, we've got to finish those drives like we did this past week. I think we were 6 for 6, and 5 of them were touchdowns. So we've got to be great in the red zone offensively. We've got to take care of the football, and then defensively, we've got to continue to be who we've been all year, and just stay disciplined. We've not given up a lot of big plays. We've been a very good big play defense, all year long, and that was our biggest focus defensively coming into the year, was to be more consistent and not give up the amount of big plays. And so I think we've improved, and then just continuing to stay committed in special teams. I think we've done what we need to do. We just got to continue to stay the course.
On the Ben Bower tackle the other day, what did the official tell you, the reason for it?
Oh, he just, it looked bad. And I understand what they were talking about. I was just trying to plead Ben's case, because the guy was staring at the goal line trying to continue to run. I didn't think the whistle had blown. And Ben could, he wasn't going down, and Ben was behind him and just trying to get a hold of him, and it just, trying to pull him back. And it just kind of, he's a strong guy. I don't think it wasn't a planned thing. It's just kind of the way it worked out, and I think it just kind of looked bad, and, they threw the penalty. But it is what it is.
Before we go, if you look at our notes today and the amount of close wins we've had this year, there's only one team in Clemson history that had more, and that was the 1948 Clemson team that was 6-0 in games decided by 7 points or less. And we have our captain from that team with us today.
Oh, how about that? I didn't see you sitting there. Got a little got a little goatee going too. Yeah. Looking debonair. I like that. That's great. Yeah, I was telling our team, when we met yesterday, even 9-0, 1948, 1981, 2015, 2016. I mean, it just, because I want these guys to enjoy their journey. I really do, because it is a special accomplishment. I mean, it's really pretty special, and I want them to enjoy their time and their their chemistry that they have, because when they grow up a little bit and they look back at this time, they're going to realize just how much fun they had and how special it was at that time. So proud of them.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.